Cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't going.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking often, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up, yeah. Go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves.
What up, world? Welcome back to the Get Right Fantasy Network. This is our Sunday morning show with me, Classic Mike. It's Sunday, December 17th, week 15 of the NFL seeding. Excited to get you through all the things that we have, that has happened since our Friday show, including the 3 games that we had on Saturday that were played. Today, I'm going to go over our week 15 start sit questions throughout the show. So make sure you guys throw them in the chat so that we can help you get your lineups right before your playoffs. As well as we're going to go over actives and inactives. We're going to be following news about Chris Olave, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins. Those are the 3 guys that are game time decisions at this point. So I have a few bits and pieces that we can get through, news and notes and stuff to kind of see where we're at with those guys. And we'll get that news at 11:30 to know if they're in or out. And then I'm going to give you guys some DFS Value picks for those that care, those who are out of the playoffs, those that want to do something a little bit different. DFS is always a fun time. So keep those questions coming throughout the show. Put them in the chat, and I will get to them as we go, as always. Also, make sure you guys check out the banner below. This is our normal schedule for those that are new to the show. We will be back here tomorrow doing overreactions to the week and some waiver wire targets for those that are still in the playoffs and needing, some help. Wednesday, we're going to help you with roster management to make sure that you guys are set for your Thursday night games. And then, of course, we will be back here on Fridays doing game-by-game start, sit, and live Q&A as well. Then I'm back here, of course, every Sunday to help you guys out through the fantasy season. All righty. So, also, just, we're at that time of year again where you might be looking for a new trophy for your league. Why don't you guys check out these guys over here at TrophySmack.com. Wonderful group of people, on top of the fact that you can customize anything that you want. I keep thinking, I've pushed this a few times in my own leagues, and I'm like, you know what? It would be really freaking cool instead of having just the trophy, which you only get, only for a year. Maybe you give out a custom ring where you can make your own ring for that person. They can have it customized to that person. And you know what? You get to have that for life. That's just a cool thing to have all the time. But, it's not for everybody, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a really good keepsake to have to show your championships. You have the belt, of course, which is also a wonderful gift. And like I said, this is not just for fantasy football. They do things for everything. Corporate events, things like that as well. You got the trophy right here that you can customize, one of their best sellers, as well as their custom chains. You can look like Kirk Cousins. We gave away a ring of our own, our 1,000 subscriber giveaway video. We ended up giving away our ring, gave it to Neanderthal. Really happy to give it to him. Glad he won it. So, yeah, he's been with us for a long time. So I'm really happy he was able to win that. So we're going to go through some overnight news, things that are currently going on in the league, little bits and pieces. So right now, Marquise Brown is listed for Sunday's game due to a heel injury. He's expected to play today. Michael Wilson is also expected to play today. He's dealing with a neck injury. Like I said in the beginning of the show, we have 3 guys that we're really following this morning. I'm going to get to those at the very end of this because there's a few guys that we just want to make sure. But the other 3 are the big names in this. Brandon Cooks, questionable. He has an illness. He's expected to play. Tutu Atwell, he is not expected to play today due to a concussion. So load up Demarcus Robinson in some situations. Aaron Donald, he was added to the injury report. He had tightness in his groin, but he's expected to play. Devontae Parker is listed as questionable, but expected to face the Chiefs today. But it looks like Juju Smith-Schuster is less likely to play. So it looks like Parker will be the lead over there. Now let's get to the other guys that I'm going to add one more guy to this. So the Packers, Matt LaFleur, said that they are optimistic with Aaron Jones to play today. A.J. Dillon, unfortunately, is not going to be playing today. Oh, of course, Neanderthal. Glad you're watching, as always. A.J. Dillon won't be playing today. He broke his thumb in the game versus the Giants, so it doesn't look like he is going to play today. He was trying to, gut it out and see if he could. Jalen Hurts, he was added to the injury report Saturday due to illness. That's just normal. They have to do that, but he is good to go. Geno Smith, he was also questionable with a groin injury. He apparently with the Seahawks, Geno Smith listed as questionable for Monday night due to his groin injury. There's a real chance that Seattle's backup, I'm assuming Drew, it doesn't give me the full thing, that Drew Lock will be starting. So maybe Geno Smith is not playing this week. So to get to the other guys that we are focusing on today, like I said, Chris Olave, as well as Tyreek Hill and Nico Collins. Nico Collins out of that whole group is the one person that I know is not going to play. Just automatically assume he is not playing today. Yes, he's a game time decision. Yes, they're going to test him out, blah, blah, blah. He's not playing. It just, everything that it screams is that he's not playing. One of the reporters put it out that he was out and then all of a sudden questionable, come on. I think it's just telling he's not going to play. Chris Olave is considered a game time decision, sources say, but there's not a lot of optimism that he can go. He may work out pregame, so he should be warming up in pregame. While the Saints want to see Chris Olave ankles feel good pregame warmups, one source says there is doubt that standout wide receiver plays today. That's from Adam Schefter this morning. Just to be clear, they do have a game on Thursday. That might mean a little more. So maybe they're going to push it until, they're going to push them until Thursday so that they can have him available Thursday. We'll see. I have Chris Olave in 2 of my leagues that I'm really needing him in this week. I have my playoff matchups this week for the 2 teams I have Olave in, and I had to make adjustments. And unfortunately, it's a game time decision, which is never easy to do. But I ended up making 2 wrong decisions, unfortunately, but we'll have to see how those pan out after today. But right now, we'll have to wait and see until pregame, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. The other news is Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill is expecting to test his ankle out in pregame warmups. I saw a video of him walking in today. No real limp. He actually walked pretty good, straight line speed, but they want to check to see if he can, cut and things like that. So Cameron Wolf, he's heard that there's early optimism for Hill to play today just because he's looking to chase those 2,000 yards. He's not far off. I think he's only 400 away. And the guy puts up 150 per, game. And he, right now he's definitely right there. Dolphins offense definitely needs him. Without him, they look like a different animal. So hopefully he can play today. We're going to have to wait and see. Other than that, there's not really much news. Like I said, those are the biggest things that we're following right now. Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, and Nico Collins. But like I said, Nico Collins is definitely not playing today. I think the other one that we're going to follow a little bit is Aaron Jones, just to see if he plays today. Otherwise, it's Patrick Taylor in the backfield for the Packers. Also, that kind of increases and shoots up Jaden Reed for me. Jaden Reed is already up there on my list So we're going to have to bump him up a little bit more if, in this case, if Aaron Jones does not play, just because they don't really have much behind him. And Jaden Reed has been he's been utilized a lot in the run game. They try to use him on jet sweeps on many occasions. They're also using him to be a little bit of a decoy as well. So we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. I am in one of my leagues. I'm playing Jaden Reed over Chris Olave because I know the concept that he probably won't play. I'm also playing him over Taysom Hill and Jerick McKinnon. So just to give you perspective in that particular scenario, I think Taysom Hill is a good play today if Chris Olave doesn't play. They got to throw it to somebody. Rashid Shaheed is in, but they don't have much. They did bring up Marquise Callaway, which is kind of telling. Normally, teams do that if they're not going to play the guy or they have fear that he, could re-aggravate. So I would just be aware of that. They also, the other guy we're looking for is Devon Achane. I forgot about him too. He's not listed on my list of players that had any overnight news, but he's a game time decision as well. They did bring up another running back just in case. But at the same time, Jeff Wilson is there. They had a lot of optimism for Raheem Mostert, so Mostert should be good to go. But if we have some surprise prior to game time, it will be Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson will probably be the head guy in that group to lead them forward. So just be aware of that. All righty. Like I said, I will keep you guys abreast to the news that comes in. Nothing crazy. Just got told Bears safety Berkser is listed as questionable for today, and he is going to play. So keep that in mind when you are filling out your roster. It really doesn't do much. A couple other side notes for today. There are some weather concerns as of the moment. There are a lot of the outdoor games, and there's a big weather, one big system going through the East Coast again. Same thing as last week. A lot of teams are in that predicament. Dolphins, Jets, it's going to be hot, but there's going to be a little bit of wind in the stadium. Texans right now, that game should be fine. Texans and Titans, but they're going to still run the ball with Derrick Henry. Bucks, Packers, there's going to be, some wind, a little bit of rain. So there's a little bit of everything going on in that game. Don't have to worry about the Giants and Saints. Falcons and Panthers, 46 degrees rain, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. That's significant for two quarterbacks that aren't really that great and can't really put a lot of juice on the ball. I don't think their arms are particularly strong. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. So it looks like Nick Underhill just posted that Chris Olave is out today. Nick Underhill is very, very plugged into the Saints organization. He knows the team. Chris Olave is not playing today. If I see it from Nick Underhill, I know it's true. Clear as day. So Chris Olave is out. So just be aware. So just had to let my buddy know. I told him last night that was the case, but I misread a post. He's probably going to give me shit about it. But it is what it is. There's not much we can really do here. So those with Olave have to make a change here. It's what you got to do. So just grabbing the news for my buddy so he doesn't think that I'm just pulling his leg. Anyway. And there's the sleeper alert. Sleeper alert helps me out. I love it. So either way, that's one guy down. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens with Tyreek Hill. We kind of already. I was expecting Chris Olave to be out today, regardless. It felt like it throughout the week. At this point, why would they play him? And yeah, one of my buddies is like, yeah. So you just got to pivot. You just got to pivot. In one of my leagues, I had an opportunity to play Deontay Johnson last night. I chose not to. We had 3 really good games, which we could go over real quick because, right now we're just waiting for news. But last night was a really good slate of games. We had the Vikings versus the Bengals. Really came down to the last minute. Jamar Chase ended up getting hurt with a shoulder injury. He was diagnosed with a separated shoulder, so he's going to be out probably for at least a week or 2. So that's gonna significantly hurt some fantasy managers. Ty Chandler did a great job, in Alexander Madison's spot. So right now, he had 23 carries, 132 yards, a touchdown. He was a little bit involved in the passing game with 4 targets, 3 receptions, 25 yards. So that did great. The story of the day for that game was Jordan Addison. He played out of his mind. 6 targets, 6 receptions. He had a couple of really crazy good ones. 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did very well. TJ Hawkinson kind of underwhelmed for his position. Normally he does a little bit better. But 6 for 63, not bad. I think another part of it is Jake Browning. Jake Browning has been doing real well lately, 29 of 42, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He actually played very well in that game, I think. They're using him where he doesn't need to do a lot. He just needs to try to get the ball downfield once in a while. And he does. I think another big asset for them is Tanner Hudson, 5 for 5, 49 yards, their tight end. He's been very well used in the last few weeks. I really do like Tanner Hudson moving forward. He is a free agent for the Bengals, so they might move on, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll get rid of Irv Smith and roll with Tanner. But they have a lot of free agent moves that they got to make this offseason, so we're going to have to wait and see. Joe Mixon had a decent day, 10 for 47, 1 touchdown. He was involved in the pass game with 3 targets, 3 receptions, and only 14 yards. So overall, a great day. Justin Jefferson had a okay day for him anyway. 7 for 84. So he's good to go. He looked fine in the game. Nothing real crazy after that. But the game, for me, the game of the week or the game of that Saturday, grouping was the late game. We had a lot going on, fireworks going on in that game, but we're going to go over the Steelers and the Colts. That game was kind of, Steelers had to bring in Mason Rudolph near the end. Mitch Trubisky just played like garbage, 169 yards, touchdown and 2 interceptions. He just did not look right in any shape, way, or form. He did have a rush for a touchdown. That's about it. But otherwise, he didn't look good. The Steelers' backfield is still a conundrum. It doesn't make any sense. Najee Harris, 12 for 33 and a fumble loss. Jaylen Warren is 10 for 40 rushing. He did have 5 catches for 28 yards. That's why he's being heavily used in a lot of fantasy lineups. Zach Moss ended up getting hurt the forearm that he hurt in the beginning of the year. But everything was negative, so he should be good. Unfortunately, the only thing that helped his day is the fact that he had a touchdown. So beyond that touchdown, he was pretty much ineffective. 3 catches, 20 yards, and a touchdown on top of only 13 yards on the ground. In his stead, Tyler Goodson and Trey Sherman. They pretty much at the end of the game just ran the damn ball. And both got either Goodson got 69 yards to Sherman's 88. Sherman looks like the lead back, but at this point, they're going to probably get Jonathan Taylor back next week. So it's kind of a moot point. But at the end of the day, Trey Sherman should be the one relieving Zach Moss if Moss is out for long term. Deontay Johnson continues his touchdown streak, which is nice. He has 3 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, 4 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. I did say on Friday he was looking good for that particular game. Michael Pittman had a horrible hit. He was doing well prior to that, unfortunately, but we'll see. He's probably going to be in concussion protocol, so keep an eye on that. It's going to be a rough day. So we'll wait and see. Like I said, the game of the day for me in this one was the Broncos and the Lions. You guys all know how much I love Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta with his 3 touchdowns this week. He had a phenomenal game. 5 receptions for 56 yards and 3 TDs. They love him in the red zone. They use him a lot. Gibbs had a great day as well. 2 receptions, 8 yards, and a touchdown on top of his rushing, which was 11 carries for 100 yards and another touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. He's just a great steal for those that waited on Gibbs over Bijan. I think Bijan he definitely has the talent. Unfortunately, the team he is on is not going to be as effective. They don't use him as well as they should. David Montgomery had a good day, 85 yards. Rushing, he had a couple of catches, but nothing crazy. He was actually minus 3 yards near the end. Jameson Williams is slowly getting up there. 7 targets, 4 receptions, 47 yards. They use him in more boom-bust stuff. Amon-Ra St. Brown did really well, 7 receptions, 112 yards, and a touchdown. He did very well in that game. Defense for the Lions stepped up this game. Broncos had a little bit of a rough day. Oh, sorry. The biggest guy that I'm a little upset about, because I ended up sitting him in one of my leagues, was Jared Goff. Jared Goff played out of his mind. No interceptions this time. He's been on kind of an interception streak, and he broke that this week. 278 yards, 5 touchdowns. He did phenomenal. Very happy for him. A little upset that I didn't play him in a few leagues, but I did play him in the places that it counted. Russell Wilson had a rough day, only 223 yards and a touchdown, but that's not horrible. He actually had a decent day. His line let him down a lot. He did have a rushing touchdown in there as well. Javonte Williams, he's getting the most touches. He's the one that's going to see the ball, but unfortunately, he's not doing a lot with it. He was only, 2.2 yards per carry. He's hard to trust moving forward. Unfortunately, Cortland Sutton didn't get in the end zone this time, but he was still 5 for 71. Little Jordan Humphrey got the touchdown for this one. That's about it. I mean, there really wasn't a lot going on for the Broncos. Their defense was serviceable, but they did let up the 5 touchdowns. It was just one of those things that the Lions just know when to win and know how to win against certain teams. So they did fairly well in this one. So really happy. If you had Sam Laporta, you were thrilled. So now, like I said, we are waiting for news. So it looks like great news for the Bucks. They're going to have Vita Vea today. So Vita Vea is going to play today. It looks like, so based on Omar Kelly, he's apparently watching Tyreek Hill work out. He's dancing. He's playing. It looks like he should be playing. It looks like he's trending towards actual playing. I'm told Dolphin safety Javon Holland is going to be inactive today, so that's a big hit to their defense. So they're going to be down their 2 starting safeties, Deshaun Elliott and Javon Holland. Unfortunately, he has an MCL sprain. Looks like Devin White won't play today, but apparently it's not injury related. That's not normal. Normally, well, for him anyway. But it is what it is. Just be aware of that. Means Bucks defense has a little much, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, we're still waiting on word about Tyreek Hill, like official word on Tyreek Hill. We're also waiting on word about Nico Collins. But like I said, I already found out that Chris Olave will not play today. So take Chris Olave out of your lineup. Like I said, Rashid Shaheed is the lead wide receiver there today. They did bring in Marcus Callaway on top of the fact that they also Taysom Hill should be active. There has been nothing to say that he won't. I think he had his tag removed on Friday, so he is good to go. So Taysom Hill will be available. They still have Juwan Johnson as well. He should be a good target if you're looking for somebody as well. They got to throw it somewhere, guys. And against the Giants, I can see that happening, but they probably will lean on the run a little bit more in this game with Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara, because that's where you beat the Giants, is on the ground, unfortunately. But we are pretty decent against the pass rush. Kayvon Thibodeau has actually been doing a lot better. And actually one of the I think he's top 5 in sacks so far. So can't be mad at that. So we should be getting word any minute. Like I said, I'm keeping my ear open for anything that comes in currently, see if there's anything going on around the league. Nothing's really been posted about other than the Tyreek dancing around and stuff like that. He could be playing. It sounds like he'll be playing. I hope he is playing. I do have him in one of my leagues, and I don't want to have to change it up. Granted, that matchup doesn't really matter, but I also kind of don't want him to play because I want him to be ready for next week. I don't care about this week. I care about next week. Trying to think. Anything else going on that's really crazy? Nothing that I see. Honestly, there's really, I keep looking through the good old Twitter sphere to see if there's, but there's really nothing going on. Just waiting for this active and inactive. For those that are just tuning in, make sure you guys throw your questions in the chat. That's what I'm here for, help you guys out prior to game time. So make sure if you have any playoff questions or anything that you're looking to do, throw it in the chat. In the meantime, make sure you guys are checking out Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't already, make sure you guys use the promo code GETRIGHT and they will double your first deposit. I think their specials changed. I think it's Christian McCaffrey, but they do have specials, one, for their new customers. It's not this one. I think it's Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't really matter. They always do some type of special where they add a player, and don't worry, I don't know if it's this one, but either way, someone is a special for that. But when you sign up, use the promo code GETRIGHT. It will double your first deposit when you register. And it also helps the show. So please make sure you guys register for Underdog Fantasy. Here's a couple places that you can do it. All those in yellow, if you can see. I actually was able to do one recently, so I'm kind of happy. I guess they haven't really shut it down in New York, so I have to apologize. I did say on Friday's show that they did, but looks like they are. They're currently okay with New York so far. So unfortunately, I didn't win that one, but either way, Marvin Mims didn't get me my receptions that I needed, but Tanner Hudson did. But make sure you guys check them out. It's always a good, fun time to, use the pick'em stuff prior to the end of the week or end of the fantasy season. It's always a good time to do that. They do have some daily fantasy as well. You draft your team prior and you go from there. I think it's only like 3 rounds or 4 rounds or something like that. Nothing crazy. It's fun. Definitely think that it's, something to look into if you haven't already. I like doing DFS a lot during the off season just because it gives you a little something to, do. It's just fun to do with your family and or friends who are out of it. I try to get a league one going for those that are interested so that they, we can have a bunch of people get involved, and it just keeps fantasy growing throughout the playoffs and stuff. It's a good time. So we should be getting actives and inactives rolling in. Already know for a fact Chris Olave will be out today, so he is already the first one on the list who is inactive. Tyreek Hill is inactive. Damn it. But Devon A-Chain is active. So looks like Tyreek Hill will be inactive today, unfortunately. Saints inactives, Chris Olave on the list. Just saw it right now in front of me. Kendrick Miller as well. No one's significant for the Browns. All right, I'm getting lists coming in. So yes, star Tyreek Hill is inactive today, unfortunately. So Tyreek Hill is out. Devin White will be out today, like we knew. Carlton Davis, a lot of defensive injuries for the Bucs. But Vita Vea will be there. He's their main person on that defense. He's the cornerstone for that defense. Aaron Jones for the Packers will be active today, so they will at least have Aaron Jones. I do not see A.J. Dillon being active. They said that they were unsure. Ekimus St. Brown for the Bears. He's going to be out today. Nico Collins is officially inactive today. CJ Stroud, we already knew he didn't travel with the team. Will Anderson is inactive. That stinks. So that should be a decent game now that they have all that going on. No Xavier Howard. So Xavier Howard and Tyreek Hill are going to be out, as well as Devon Holland. Devon A-Chain is active, though, so you'll at least get Devon A-Chain for those that need him. DJ Moore is active. He should be good to go. No problems there. We were optimistic about DJ Moore prior to this. I wasn't really too concerned about him prior to game time. He had a full practice on Friday without a problem. So, yeah. A lot of people are posting about Tyreek being out, which stinks. A lot of people needed him in the playoffs. Thankfully, I need him next week. I don't need him this week. Hopefully, he can recover quickly. Isaiah Pacheco, we already knew he would be out. He should be back next week based on what Andy Reid said. So we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Devon Smith, their left tackle, is going to be out today. So that's not good for good old Patrick Mahomes. Who else do we got here? No one else is really posting anything out. We were really waiting on Tyreek Hill. I think he was the only one that people really gave anything about. So Tyreek Hill is out today, unfortunately. Putting it up till game time stinks. It is what it is for a lot of people. I'm in a situation where I have to choose between guys like Rashad Bateman. I would have played Tyler Boyd yesterday. He didn't have a great game, but I would have played him over, Tyreek in this situation. Probably going to have to roll with Dalton Schultz and roll with 3 tight ends today. It is what it is. Got to go with what you got. I don't like on my team, I have Marquez Valdez-Scanlon, Isaiah Hodges, and Rashad Bateman. So, yep, just going to have to roll with the punches, unfortunately. Chris Olave being out kind of hurts. I got to switch things up on my league. Like I said, I have to play Jaden. I don't have to, but I'm choosing to play Jaden Reed on top of the fact that I'm also going to be playing Wan'Dale Robinson over Chris, unfortunately. But thankfully, I had Jared Goff and Sam Laporta in that particular league, and they did very well. Looks like Juju Smith-Schuster and Trent Brown will be out for the Patriots. That's significant just because, your left tackle being out is never a good thing. So we'll wait and see how that goes. A little upset now that I didn't play Joshua Palmer, but it is what it is. Can't cry over spilled milk, ladies and gentlemen. That's just how it goes. So now that we have a bunch of news in, we already know a lot of what's going on around the league. We know that certain players are in and out. Now we're going to kind of switch gears and go towards some DFS value picks. So we have some DFS value picks for you. I got them right up here on the screen. Well, not yet. We're going to roll to them. But we're going to go over some quarterback value picks for today. Like I said, I always use FanDuel for my particular DFS play. You can also use, DraftKings. They're good as well. I just choose to use FanDuel. So I'm basing all my numbers and stuff off them. Two value picks that I like today. One is Matthew Stafford. This is, $7,200 for Stafford going against the Commanders. Thank you. I'm hitting submit as soon as possible. He's my QB play for today. You got Joe Flacco over here going against the Bears. He's another good value for you as well. The weather's going to be a little off. I got to see the field prior to coming on the show. Don't look nice. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be gross. But Flacco's played in weather like that before, so I'm not really too concerned. And he's been playing well lately. So Joe Flacco, $7,100. Not a bad price, like what I see there. The other one, and this is for those that are just wanting to punt the quarterback. Case Keenum going against the Tennessee Titans. Case Keenum is $6,000, which is the lowest you can go. There he is. I think it's the lowest you can go on FanDuel. Yeah. So you want to throw in Case Keenum and load up everywhere else? Go for it. He's going to be the starter today, not Davis Mills. Be aware of that. Case Keenum is starting over Davis Mills. So he's $6,000. Worth playing if you're wanting to just load up on guys like Christian McCaffrey, Kyren Williams, guys like that. Let's go through some running back values as well. Like I said, you got the two studs at the top with Christian McCaffrey and Kyren Williams, Alvin Kamara. Those are the three guys that you would probably want if you're looking to spend up on running back. But we're going to lower our value picks here. We're going to go to Chuba Hubbard, $6,700. Chuba's been killing it lately. If you look at his game log from the last few weeks, no, those aren't his numbers. There they are. 17, 22, 10. He's pretty much he's getting 25 to 23 rush attempts per game. They're going to need to run the ball. It's going to be crap weather in Carolina. So right now, you're going to run the ball. Chuba Hubbard is that guy. I think he could do well today. Zeke Elliott, they said, screw you, Ty Montgomery, you're gone. They're running Zeke Elliott, $6,500. He's a steal today in FanDuel as well. Jerome Ford, $6,400 going against the Bears. Love the play today. I think he could do really well in this particular matchup. Devin Singletary is another guy that I like a lot. $6,000 going against Tennessee Titans without Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons is a huge part of that defense and why they are so good against the run. He is not there today. So just be aware of that. You want to throw in Tajay Spears? I don't mind it. I do like Derrick Henry way more. He always does well against the Texans, so I'm pretty good with that. I didn't throw in Deontay Foreman, but I think I'm gonna. Deontay Foreman today in the crap weather in Cleveland. If you're gonna try to neutralize Myles Garrett, best thing to do is run the damn ball with a three-headed monster that you got. Not a bad value at $5,800. So worth the try. Another guy to look into is Antonio Gibson. This is more of the fact that he's the lead guy for today against the Rams. $5,600. Good price point for him if you're looking to spend down in one position. He is one guy that you can spend down, and at least he'll get good volume. Jerick McKinnon is the next guy, $5,500. They used him a little bit more than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and you don't have to pay as much. I think he is a good play today against New England. They're beat up. Their defense is actually pretty good. One of the better defenses in the league. They're actually first against the running backs since week 11. So for me, Jerick McKinnon isn't a horrible option. I think they're definitely going to involve him in the passing game. Who else do we got? And I think that's all I got for running backs. So those are the only running back values that I have for you today. Now with Tyreek Hill out, this will change a couple things. But it looks like CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, these guys are all at the top. Mike Evans, as course. Oh, look at this. We get Perry Williams in the house. What's going on, Perry? He goes, yo, Mike, love, Hal, or Lawrence? I'm going to go Hal. And I say that just because Hal has been, Commanders have always been playing from behind. They tend to throw a little more than most teams. Lawrence has been playing well the last few weeks. Going against Baltimore scares me a little bit. Hal has a little bit more intrigue for me. Love could do okay against the Bucks, but I just, it's hard to sell me on Love. But out of those, I like Hal. I think Hal should do fine. I do have Lawrence ranked a little bit higher, but it's more for the player than. Oh no, I have Hal. Yeah, I have Hal at 9, so I'm going Hal. Don't even have to think twice anymore. Gotta look at my rankings every so often. I don't always look at my rankings when you guys throw these things in. I kind of use that as like a tiebreaker here and there. For me, it's gut. Hal just has a better, particular situation. So yeah. Back to some wide receiver values. Like I said, there's, a ton at the top that you can pick from if you really want to. Cooper Kupp today. A lot of, this game's indoors, which is nice. Puka Nacua is another one. These are two top lower options that I would look at. But if you're looking to go down because now you don't have Chris Olave, you don't have Nico Collins, you can go a little bit lower on the scale. And look at this. Garrett Wilson at $6,900 going against Miami's defense, who's banged up. Xavier Howard is going to be out in this game. Load up Garrett Wilson anywhere you can. Garrett Wilson is going to be a great play today. $6,900. I like it. Terry McLaurin is another guy. I know. He got a goose egg prior to the bye. But they're going to feed him the ball. I know that he was very cordial in his post-game interview after that. He was like, oh, I got a lot of good cardio today. Yeah, he was sarcastic about it. I think they take a little bit of a wink and go, yeah, we got to get him the ball a little more. That's why we lost. So Terry McLaurin, I think, will be a little bit more involved today. They're going to definitely try to get him the ball early and often. Rashid Rice, $6,500 today. Cheap price for FanDuel. And honestly, he's overtaken Travis Kelce in a lot of statistics that they're doing. I think they're trying to get him more involved because they know Kelce's almost on his last legs. I love Kelce. I think he's a great player, but I think he's on the verge of not being here anymore. Or just, he's got a year left. So I think Rashid Rice is the guy, $6,500. Great price point going against New England. I like it. Now, before I knew about Nico Collins, I would have maybe told you to do Noah Brown. He is questionable. He is active. I don't know how I feel about it. He didn't do well last time. He was the only guy. He did put up a decent number the last time they were out there. But in this case, I'm not sure. I don't know if I would trust it. I'd rather go with other options that I have available down here. If you're looking for a boom bust guy, Gabe Davis is a guy that you can definitely look into. One guy I like a little bit today is Adam Thielen. Here's my breakdown. And no, it is right now for Neanderthal. Don't listen to this breakdown for that particular group of guys that I'm going to go over. So give me a second for this. For Adam Thielen, I like him today in just the concept that windy, shitty game, and all the passes should be underneath. He's not going to try to pass it deep. He's not going to try to keep it, crazy. Who lives in the intermediate route for that offense? Adam Thielen. So for me, I think Adam Thielen will be involved. I don't want to risk your particular playoffs with him. But like I said, for DFS, I think he's fine. So Neanderthal, for your question, Romeo Doubs, Lockett, Thielen, or Ridley. Ooh. With Drew Lock more than likely being the quarterback on Monday night, if it wasn't, I would have said Lockett for this one just because of the particular matchup against the Eagles. Eagles have been struggling against the wide receiver. Since week 11, they are the last place team. You can throw on the Eagles. So I would say lock it with the caveat that if you trust Drew Lock, I wouldn't put Dobbs in here. Thielen is kind of the third guy. It's really between Lockett and Ridley for me. And it's really just how you feel about each of those two. Honestly, I don't like Ridley a lot just because I think the pass rush for Baltimore can do real well against this Jags team. Yes, they're going to have to throw the ball, but Trevor scares me in the context that he's only really, he's got to kind of stay in that pocket, and that's going to scare the living hell out of me. So I prefer Lockett out of all these guys, but I'm not really confident. I would say Lockett, Ridley, Thielen, and Dobbs if I'm ranking those. So that's what I would do. But yeah, one of those guys. That's a tough one right there. Not gonna lie, I have a couple of tough ones too. So, all righty. So some more running wide receiver values. One guy that I like more than Romeo Dobbs is Jaden Reed. $6,100. Great price point for him. Going against the Bucs. Bucs are beat up in the secondary and in the defense as a whole. Not a bad price point. I like him. Rashid Shaheed. He's the only guy there. $6,000. Not a bad play today. He is their deep threat as well. So I do not mind those numbers right there. Another guy I like is Demarcus Robinson. Now, this is a strictly only for DFS play. I'm not looking for him in regular. I'm looking for him in this particular matchup going against the Commanders, who are 31st best against the wide receiver. $5,600 is great price point. I like it a lot. So I would be inclined to play him today if you wanted to spend down a little bit. Another guy I like today with the news that we just got, Robert Woods. Robert Woods at $5,500 going against Tennessee Titans. I like this matchup. I think he should do pretty good in this particular scenario. Another guy I like a lot today is Wan'Dale Robinson. I will put the caveat is that I kind of have to invest in him a little bit because he's in my, one of my playoff lineups. But it's also with a little bit of, knowledge. Saints tend to have a rough time against the slot, and he is their slot guy. Saints are currently, since week 11, yes, they are pretty good against the wide receiver. They are fourth best, but against the slot, they've just been killing people. So right now, I like Wan'Dale Robinson a lot today. If you have to, if you need to play somebody, he's not a bad option. All right, let's move on to the tight end options for DFS today. Like I said, you can go with the top options here with Travis Kelce, of course, at the top. But he doesn't have that big dip that he usually does. Sometimes he's like 8,000 and then everybody else is like 6. Yeah, actually, guys like Taysom, George Kittle, guys like that are kind of leading up to each other. George Kittle's a great play today if you're looking just to throw a tight end. If you want to play high on tight end, he does pretty well against Arizona. Budda Baker is dealing with an illness. I like George Kittle here. And even on the other side, I like Trey McBride. Both guys should be in a good spot. David Njoku, I like a lot. A lot of these guys at the top I like. But if you're going to spend down a little bit, Dalton Kincaid against Dallas today, $5,600. Not a bad play. I'm going to say Darren Waller. And it's only really because of the fact that everybody else on the Saints is pretty they're not as tall as Darren Waller. I do think that Darren Waller is going to come back and try to get involved often. Tommy DeVito has been playing out of his mind. I just like a couple Giants just because DeVito is kind of getting my spirit back. We're in the hunt. We're playing for something right now. So got to get this guy involved. Paid him for a reason. Get him involved. Another guy I like is Logan Thomas going against the Rams. $5,100. It's a good particular matchup for him. I like it a lot. Logan Thomas is a good play today. Another guy I like And it's really one, because of the price point, two, because of the matchup. They're playing in bad weather. And like I said, if you just follow the way that games should be played in bad weather, intermediate and short routes should be involved. He's their possession receiver comparatively to guys like Kyle Pitts, who are a little bit more mainline. I would use a guy like Jonnu Smith today in a really, I don't want to spend on anybody else, and I want to use at least one guy to spend down on. He's not a bad option. So I'm trying to give you guys a couple of good options for that. Let's move on to the defenses for those that want to follow. I mean, yeah, you can use the Kansas City Chiefs against the Patriots, San Francisco against Arizona. I'm using Miami in real life, in redraft. But if you want to go a little bit lower, Atlanta Falcons versus the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals have been bad this year, guys. Bad. It's been rough to watch, to be honest. So for me, it's one of those scenarios. Wow, I got so many things going on always when I'm on the show. So I'm just getting news. Some more context on Jalen Hurts being downgraded by the Eagles to questionable with the illness. The fact that he's still traveling is obviously a good sign he can play, but obviously the team can't predict how they'll feel tomorrow. Yeah, so they got to make sure that they are cautious in that particular scenario. But you guys always making moves while I'm on the show in two different leagues. I'm always trying to figure out what's going on, seeing why people are making certain moves and why everything's going on the way it is. Just because, I'm a little nosy in that way. I want to know what's going on. Okay. So Neanderthal goes, dang, that's not what I wanted to hear. Something is telling me to play Romeo. Sometimes your gut is your best asset. Here's what I'm going to say, and this is how I'm going to put it. This particular week, I kind of freaked out in my own head. I got in my own head. I got it my own way. And I had a couple of scenarios. Like I said, Chris Olave and Nico Collins were both questionable on Friday. I had to make a couple of decisions prior to that. I had to make a call. Well, actually on Thursday, they didn't practice all week. So I'm like, it doesn't look good. And I'm like, should I play Joshua Palmer? Because if I play Palmer, then, I don't have to really think too much. And, if Chris Olave is out, not the end of the world. I can make a move and everything should be fine. What happened? I talked to a couple of, friends. Everyone was like, yeah, no. Don't play Palmer. It's not worth the Easton stick. What's the point? I ended up pulling him and Palmer did well. Now I'm in a situation where I have to play a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson. That sucks. Now, in another league, I had the same problem, but I had the option to play either Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, and Deontay Johnson, or wait until today and find out about Chris Olave. And now I'm put in a situation where I have to play either Jaden Reed, Taysom Hill, or Wan'Dale Robinson. And Jerick McKinnon. So I have three decent options, but it sucks. I don't want to have to pivot. It's one of those things where if I trusted my gut, I would have already had Deontay Johnson in, and I wouldn't have to worry about it at this point. And I would just have DK Metcalf, Cortland Sutton, and him going, and I would be fine. So honestly, go with your gut. That's what I tell people all the time. If you think Romeo Doubs is going to do well, go for it. Honestly, he has a good matchup. He's not going against Carlton Davis. He's going to be out. It's one of those things where Romeo Doubs might not have a horrible day. I just don't like I don't like his prospect. I just don't like Jordan Love. I'm not a big fan of his particular scenario. His offense, they get him involved, but not really. Like, he's very mediocre. So Lockett has the higher ceiling. I think Dobbs maybe has the higher floor, maybe. That's how I'll put it. But trust your gut, bro. Just trust your gut. That's all I'm trying to say. So back to defensive value picks. Like I said, Falcons going against Carolina. Can't go wrong there. Rams going against the Commanders. $4,300. Not a bad play. Rams have been playing well as of late. Cowboys versus the Bills. I'm really surprised Cowboys are this low on the list. They are going against Josh Allen. I get it. Josh Allen does give up a lot of interceptions and is prone to getting sacked. There you go. Dallas Cowboys, and they're at a good price point for me. Also, I know this might sound like a homer play, but hear me out. Giants, $3,500. One, you're not spending up. Two, they're facing the Saints. Derek Carr is banged up and does give up interceptions. For me, that's why I'm suggesting them. I think they're a really good play this week as a DFS value, so that you can kind of spend everywhere else. So if you're looking to play low, that's who I'd go with. Another team that now that we know more information, the Jets. Tua looks like garbage without Tyreek. He just does. And they don't play the same. So I like the Jets here. Tua is prone to getting sacked. He usually goes off his first read. They were talking about in Hard Knocks that the way that they have him set is that basically he's set for the first read. So everything he's doing is first read. He'll drop back, first read. And he's pretty much plant and go, like Drew Brees. Just pretty much he's set and go. And basically it's a lot of his upper body now. He just has a wider base, quicker throw. And that's where the Jets will tear him apart. So just Jets are a good option here. And if you don't watch a show like Hard Knocks, you should. You really, really, really should. Hard Knocks is a great show to get an insight on certain teams. I was ahead on the Lions prior because I love what Dan Campbell had to do there. You get to see the drive, the fire, what they have in there. I know Jamal Williams isn't there anymore, but when he was there, he showed his passion. You got to see the other guys that are playing. Rodrigo, the linebacker that they have that they found out of nowhere. He's all these great players that they ended up grabbing. You get to see Aiden Hutchinson and all that. You get to see the inside of their particular network. And honestly, it was great to see. And they have a really great team. So I was already on board. When they did the Dolphins, you got to see a little bit more of what Mike McDaniels is about. And Mike McDaniels, he's definitely a player's coach. He's definitely one of those fun guys. He's just having a great time, young guy. On top of that, the players respond to him. They like him. They like what he's doing. They like his message and how he's coming across. And they're playing like it too. And he's been stressing December football. And they, I think they were 0-4 last year in December. And now they're only they're 2-2 right now. So they don't want to go any less than that. Like they want to do better. And they're going against the Jets. They're playing in their own home. It's going to be a little bit of, crappy weather. They're going to have to play well. So it's one of those things, like I said, if you look into their, you get to watch these. Yeah, it's a TV show. Yeah, they all kind of, play up for the camera and stuff. And they don't really show a lot of who they truly are because it's on camera. But you kind of get an idea. You get an idea of what that team is about. And I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't, you should watch it. It's fun. If you have HBO, it's worth it. All righty. So since I don't see a ton of questions in the chat, I'm just going to make sure you guys are checking out our affiliate channels as well, the Fantasy Frontline podcast, as well as the Check Down podcast with Cody McGoats, Shirtless Pat and the crew, as well as keeping an eye out for AJ's Dead Zone Fantasy Show. I know he's going to try to get some stuff out as soon as he can. He's been a little busy at home, so that's why he hasn't had a lot out, but it's okay. We'll wait. Anything he brings out should be great. Also, we got this guy right here, Tycoon, in the fantasy boardroom. He is part of our channel now. I'm really excited. Can't wait to have him on the show again with me or with Rasta. It doesn't really matter. Just glad to have him around. Tycoon's one of the best in the industry. So keep an eye out for him. He'll be a little bit more involved as well. Perry goes, Rams or Eagles defense? Ew. I want to say the Rams, and it's really just because of Sam Howell. Sam Howell is prone to a turnover. Sam Howell is prone to getting sacked. Most sacked guy in the league. And they're indoors a little bit more. I like, yeah, I'd probably go the Rams. Eagles D is hard to trust if the team is good at passing the ball. They're good. It's going to be Drew Lock. Monday Night Football, they always come out. You know, they always play a little bit better in prime time. That's actually a really good question. I'm leaning the Rams just because of, they haven't been playing, the Commanders haven't played well. Rams have been playing a little bit better. They had a good game last week against the Ravens. Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with the Rams. Why not? Worth it. Eagles have been playing okay, but I mean, I don't have their particular numbers in front of me. Hold on one sec. Getting a few things real quick. Yeah, the Atlanta-Carolina game is going to have 18-mile-an-hour winds. Ugh, that's going to suck. Let me get to the Eagles defense real quick. I just want to give you guys a good breakdown of the Eagles. So the last few games they have been against Dallas, they got 10 points, -2 against San Francisco, Buffalo 4-6. Going against Seattle, I mean, they have had negative points, which I don't see in this particular scenario. They haven't been faring well. I mean, they didn't fare well against the San Francisco offense. And then let's look at the Rams real quick, just because I want to compare the two. I like the Rams more just because of Sam Howell. So they played Baltimore, Cleveland, Arizona. Haven't had a game over 10 except for against Arizona. Eagles are going to be, I think Eagles have everybody. Yeah, I'm going to have to change my answer. I think I'm going to go with the Eagles D after looking at a lot of stuff. They don't I guess they don't get enough sacks to be viable. And they let up they let up a lot of points. Aaron Donald's dealing with an injury too. Yeah, go Eagles defense. They're gonna have to contain DK, and they're gonna have to, they can stop the run. So as long as they can stop the run and handle DK, I think everything should be fine. Yeah, go Eagles D. So, like I said, the Panthers game, Panthers Atlanta, expect 20-mile-an-hour gusts prior to game time and during game time. Other games that are going to deal with some weather and stuff is the Buffalo Bills versus Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears and Browns, Miami and Jets. They're all going to have a little bit of wind and rain and little crap. So just be aware. There should be a little bit of stuff in Tennessee too, from what I remember. Or are they playing in Houston? No, they're in Tennessee. There's nothing really crazy going on in Tennessee, though. So just be aware. It's just good to know about the weather. You're playing your studs unless you have, really the weather is between two, bottom tier guys. So always remember that. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap things up. Not much going on in the chat, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. It is the playoffs, so I understand not that many people are going to be in the playoffs, but you get to try again next year. And you know what? Maybe for your league, you tell them, hey, go to trophysmack.com. You can get a ring. You can get a belt, a trophy. Make it all customized for your particular league. So check out trophysmack.com. Use promo code GETRIGHT, and they will help you out at checkout. It also helps out the channel, so make sure you guys check them out. I keep pushing the ring for this. The ring looks great. So I keep pushing the ring for my league, and they don't want to do it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, of course, check out Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys use that same promo code GETRIGHT, and they will help you at checkout. They will give you and double your first deposit. Oh, we do have a question. We have Gray Ren. What's going on, man? Great to have you here. Hope you're having a wonderful week 15. He goes, hey, man, Aaron Jones or Diggs in my flex? Play your stud, brother. Play your stud. Diggs for me is that guy. They kept saying all week they need to get Diggs more involved. It's going to be a little windy, but I don't really care about the weather for guys like Josh Allen. He will sling that ball through anything. Diggs is the guy. The fact that you are flexing Diggs is kind of one of those things where I'm sitting here like, what is your team? And I can imagine in your particular scenario, you're probably a team league in some ways. If not, congrats to you having this particular conundrum. But I like Diggs here over a guy like Aaron Jones. I don't trust Aaron Jones more than I can throw him. So, yeah, Stephon Diggs. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the show. Helps us out a ton. So please make sure you guys are doing that. Make sure you guys are following us. We will be back here tomorrow for our Monday show, overreactions to the week, as well as waiver wire targets. Then we're going to be back on Wednesday to help you guys with construction for your teams for the Thursday night and week 16 for a lot of your playoffs. I know it might not be everybody's playoff this week, but it will be everybody's playoff next week. So make sure you guys check that out. Get your roster right prior to your playoffs. So make sure you guys check us out on Wednesday as well as our Friday show. We are back. Oh, there you go. So, hey, sorry. Let me specify. It's a 10-man league. Good for you. I'm stacked at wide receiver with Amon-Ra and Lamb, but it's non-PPR. Would that change anything for you? Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. It only the non-PPR option changes it only a smidge. Whenever there's non-PPR, I tend to lean the running back. Aaron Jones hasn't shown me anything to really make me want to play him. And here's my breakdown real quick of what I feel, for non-PPR. Non-PPR, you're looking for the touchdown. You don't really care about passes. You really only care about who is going to get a touchdown. Aaron Jones hasn't been on the field enough to care, like for me to even evaluate his touchdown potential, just because he's been hurt all year. That's part of my particular analysis for him. He's just not been on the field. He's now going to play. He's coming off his own injury. He is still injured, but he is questionable. He's playing. He's active, the whole deal. He will touch the ball more. He will see the ball a lot more than Stephon Diggs. Most likely. He'll touch the ball maybe 20 times to Diggs's like 10. So, yeah, he'll have more opportunity to score. But at the end of the day, Diggs can do more with 10 catches than what Aaron Jones can do with 20. That's how I feel about that. To me, Diggs is a stud compared to Aaron Jones. So if I am in a situation where I'm like, if I have a choice between, like you just said, you have Amon-Ra and you have Lamb, and you loaded up on wide receiver. So good for you. That's smart right there. Play Diggs. Diggs is definitely the better start in general. If Aaron Jones goes off, then you're going to sit there and be like, what the fuck? But I don't see that happening. To give you a little bit more perspective, let me break down the defense since week 11 for you. So since week 11, Tampa hasn't done great against the running back, so I can understand why people are a little bit optimistic. Vita Vea will be there. Devin White is out. Carlton Davis is out. Let me see who else is out, because they are a little beat up on the defensive side of the ball. So they have been letting up a few more points than they normally do. But I just don't trust them. Carlton Davis is out. Ryan Neal, Golson, Devin White. So they're losing those three guys. I get it. I don't know, man. I feel a lot safer using a guy like Diggs. They're going to have – Josh Allen passes the ball more than Jordan Love, which doesn't really matter. but Dallas could. I mean, if Dallas is, I think Dallas is only favored by. I think they're only favored by like 3. Let me double check my math here. Buffalo's favored by 2. So they're playing as favorites in this matchup. They need the win. They're 7-6. Cowboys can cruise by because they don't really, they're currently in the they're in the driver's seat for their league, but they need to win too. So both teams are in a need to win situation. They're going to push the ball down. I'm trying to talk myself out of Diggs, and I can't. Play Diggs. Just don't get out. If go with your gut. I don't know if you're here prior to all this. My gut when I saw that was Diggs. Yeah. So he goes, I really appreciate your advice. I was feeling Diggs, but then the predictions on fantasy had Jones 3 more points. Thanks for your help. Yeah. Projections are projections. We see them every week. Every week you see those things pop up. You see all these guys with their general projection. You just have to think in your head, if you see that, is he going to get that or not? And you then have to think, okay, he hasn't. And what I do is I look at the game log for him, and I look to see how he's done in the last few weeks. And I look to see how he's done all year, because I like to see if he's been consistent. And if this is your first time watching, welcome. And if it's not, what I tend to do is I like to focus solely on guys that are consistent. I don't like going with the guys that are boom bust. Boom bust guys annoy the shit out of me because you can never predict what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. Consistency matters. Aaron Jones, his first week against Chicago, when Chicago was horrible, 25 points. Great. Then he didn't play for 2 games, came back, got hurt again, 1 point. Didn't play for 2 more games. Then he pretty much averaged after that 7, 7, 16, 7, 2. He's only had 1 good game since then. He touched the ball 20 times, 73 yards and a touchdown. Did get a couple of receptions he is averaging 4 touches per game. Now, it doesn't really matter, or 4 catches per game. It doesn't really matter in your league because it's non-PPR. Okay, 26, 19 particular yards on top of, so he's averaging 100 yards per game. Well, he was averaging, that one game that he did good, he had 100 yards. The other 2, not as much. He was facing Pittsburgh and the Chargers. Chargers you can run on. Pittsburgh, I understand. Then he's out versus Detroit. Didn't play against the Giants. Didn't play against the Chiefs. That's where I go, let me go look at Stephon Diggs real quick. Stephon Diggs, beyond the fact the last 2 weeks have really been the last few weeks have been kind of underwhelming. Beginning of the year, 24 points, 10, 18, 36, 23, 18, 14, 11, 19. That's, he's in double digits for me all the time. He had 2 games where he wasn't, 3 games that he hasn't. And it was against Kansas City, the Jets, and Denver. Denver and Jets have been playing really well against the wide receiver. Patrick Surtain and all of them are really great. Right now, Dallas is playing really good pass rush, but they don't really have great receivers. Ball out quick. I think right now, well, granted, they're going against Diggs' brother in this case. And he's going to probably be going against Stephon Gilmore, but Stephon Gilmore is dealing with the stomach bug this week, apparently. So he's going to be hindered by that. That literally just came in right this minute. So for me, Stephon Diggs is your dude. Don't try to change your mind. Don't let whatever platform came up with their projection change your mind. All it means, and in this case, for what it means for him, it's just because A.J. Dillon is out. You got no one behind you. You got no Patrick Taylor. You got no anything else. Josh Allen treats Stephon Diggs like Aaron Jones currently is in his situation. He's the only guy he sees. And, Dalton Kincaid. So, at the same time, like I said, I think Diggs can do a lot more with his 10 touches than Aaron Jones can do with his 20. That's how I'll view it. And they do target Diggs a ton in the red zone. Let me bring up real quick my I have stats on this. Hold on one sec. If you don't mind. I was looking this up the other day because I remember him being one of the red zone leaders in the league right now within the 20. Yeah. Inside the 20-yard line, has 11 receptions for 11 receptions on 15 targets, 93 yards, and 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. So Gray goes, thanks. I just know Jones has hype coming back without Dillon, and I think Diggs' talent will outperform. Yes, that's what I feel. Because like I said, just looking at the red zone chart that I just brought up, inside the 20-yard line, he has 11 catches, 93 yards, and 6 touchdowns in 14 games. That's pretty damn good. He's 4th in the league behind a guy like CeeDee Lamb, Cortland Sutton, and Jacoby Myers, who's actually been doing real good inside the 20. Inside the 15, they still love to throw the ball. 7 catches, 5 touchdowns. Shows you that they like using him inside that particular window. Inside 10, that kind of goes down a little bit. So they do use him just outside the 10-yard line. Hey, I like those odds. They will get the ball down the field. I like them a lot. So I hope that helped. And make sure you guys check us out. We will be back here on Monday with not me, but it will be my buddy Rasta and Frank. They will go over the week, hopefully showing you or telling you that Diggs had a great game. So check them out on Monday night. Also, check us out on Wednesday night and Friday next week as well. I'll be back here Sunday morning helping you out. Maybe not next Sunday. Next Sunday might be the exception to the rule. But we'll see how the day goes. It is Christmas Eve. I do have plans, but I don't know when my plans are. So I have to kind of figure all that out. But we'll see. Keep an eye out for the thumbnail. Make sure you guys keep an eye out. For those that are kind of just new, or those that have been part of the show and kind of seen a new thumbnail, I'm kind of working with something new. So just be aware of that. Just trying something new for the channel. Hopefully you guys like the thumbnail and all that fun stuff. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it, Gray. He says, I'll definitely stop back again. I hope all your predictions go well. Thanks, man. I hope so too. That's what, I call us glorified meteorologists. We can only do so much. We get all the data that we can. We get all these different, numbers and stuff like that. Our own opinion based on what we see and stuff like that. And we kind of give you guys the tools you need to set your lineup. We give our opinion, but ultimately it's yours. We always let everyone know that. Make sure you guys, we're just trying to give you guys the best we can. In this situation, I feel a lot more confident than normal. I definitely like it. So hope everybody has a wonderful week 15. Good luck to those that are in playoff situations. I hope everyone does well, unless you're going against me. I hope to see you guys in a few weeks, or I hope to see you guys on Friday. Hope everybody, when I come back, has won, and we can say that you guys have been winning and doing well. Hope you guys, hope everyone just has a wonderful day. So I'm having a crappy day just because of the weather, but otherwise I'm having a wonderful day sitting down with my wonderful wife watching some football. So can't beat that. So everybody have a wonderful week 15 for Dustin, for Frank, for Rasta. Make sure you guys check us out again on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will see you guys soon. Peace.
Wanted to white fantasy is the play. Marking off and but